All right, we are back on the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith. Carter, how we doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Had a nice little weekend. Got to enjoy some NFL action without all the college football, and then just hung out, got things ready. Got a little bit of a snowstorm here in the Midwest that came through last night, so enjoyed a nice snowy morning this morning on my way to work and dealing with the idiots that don't know how to drive when it's sunny out, let alone when there's snow on the ground. So it's been fun. But other than that, man, just a nice little Monday, getting ready. Only 2-3 days until we get the semifinals kicked off. So I'm pretty jacked up, ready to go, man. How about you?
Same old standard issued weekend. Nothing too crazy. We got a little of that snowstorm up here in Fort Wayne. So it's same old story. Even though I'm traveling at nighttime to work, it's a little bit better. You don't have as many of the folks on the road. So
Yeah.
that is where we are. That is where we are at. But outside of that, nothing too major. Can't complain. We're just taking it one day at a time.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Did you smoke anything this weekend? Cook anything up? Anything good?
Oh yeah, I smoked a couple of pork shoulders this weekend, and then went to the cigar lounge and hung out with some of the fellas over there that watch the show.
Nice.
So
Heck yeah, man. That's awesome.
So that's where we're at. It's one thing, with our company that we have here, even though we're small, we don't have Fox Sports issues. So
no, there's nobody that Duke is offering $1.5 million to bang on this show. I don't know. I guess Richie hasn't told me if you have, but no, yeah, dude, that stuff's crazy. I mean, I would love to say I'm shocked, but really not all that crazy to think about. And the Joy Taylor stuff are that's interesting. Joy Taylor apparently, sleeping her way to the top or whatever, however you want to call it, and banging some exec, and then Emmanuel Achu or whatever. Acho, whatever. Yeah, sure. Whatever. I don't know how that guy got on TV. I think he's terrible anyways, but then he helps Joy get a little further in her career, and good for her, I guess.
I'm not sure the context here. Ask him about.
I don't want to know. Listen, whatever goes on between Duke and Rhonda is not none of my concern.
I don't know anything about that either, so that is news to me. But yeah, the whole Fox News thing is just very bizarre.
Yeah.
I think that Jason Whitlock, and I quote his words were that peanut butter skin in that rack, you can look it up. It's on the internet. I am not making it up. And he said, Jason, you have to stay away from her. So I don't know exactly what Whitlock. I know Whitlock's a very divisive fellow. A lot of people hate him. A lot of people love him. But it's doing the whole sports media thing is just. It's interesting to see how some of these people act in this, and just the whole Joy Taylor is just. I mean, I can't say I'm shocked. I mean, it sounds like they're a couple gallons of baby oil away from being a Diddy party, but we'll see.
I mean, you had to know Joy Taylor was a bartender that was doing like a local radio show, and all of a sudden she was on one of the biggest shows on TV on Fox Sports. Like, I mean, I know her brother's a Hall of Fame defensive end, so I guess that's her connection to sports or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's all crazy. And then you have the staffer that did her hair and makeup or whatever that, Skip was offering 7 figures to bang.
Allegedly.
And he mixed all kinds of terrible things together, right? You have the sexual misconduct, the prostitution of offering her money, and also the racism when she said, "Don't you have a wife?" And he's like, "Aren't you Muslim? Doesn't your dad have like 3 or 4 wives?" Like, bro, you're checking all the HR do not do boxes right now.
Yeah. So, and then we got Tony here, big ND fan in Texas. So.
Yep, absolutely, man. Hey, my dad lives in Dallas, McKinney. He lives in the McKinney area, and y'all are supposed to get a little bit of snow here soon, making it difficult for the Buckeye fans to get down there. So I expect a lot of burnt orange in that stadium on Friday.
Yeah, next man in. Let's go Irish. So we got
absolutely
a lot of
next man up.
Yeah. So here we go again.
Jesus, Duke.
So while I'm playing with the camera here,
yeah, I got some social media stuff we can go through. And I want to lead off with one of the bigger news stories coming out of Week 18 in the NFL. I'm sure you saw his comments, right? Tyreek Hill, obviously the Dolphins do not make the playoffs. I believe he must be at the end of his contract with them, or at least in a position to get out of it. That's awesome. Good deal, man. I'll have to let you know if I ever make it out there to visit him. He's in town right now. But Tyreek Hill afterwards said, "I'm out, bro." He goes, "Deuces, I'm out. I'm not, I'm too competitive to just be out there to play." And then did you see the he updated his old profile picture here, and
can only imagine what you're about to show me.
There you go.
Oh man,
that's his current profile picture on Twitter right now. Tyreek Hill says, "Deuces, I'm out."
Okay, here's the thing with Tyreek Hill. He has kind of been a pain in the ass in Miami for the most part. He's always a guy with the story. The house burned down. We get arrested. Like this is all in the last like 7-8 months. Like, is it?
A media circus. Yeah.
I mean, he is kind of, and also he's going to be a financial nightmare in about 6 years because he's got 10 kids.
Yeah, I forget. He's had more kids than touchdowns this year.
I mean, when it comes down to it, I mean, the guy's got more kids than me, you, and Richie put together, and that's 3 of us. So and you guys got multiples. So all I'm saying is that if you're an NFL organization, I think he goes back to Kansas City if they'll take him, if they can get that deal done.
Maybe. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I get why he wants out, man. He wants to win, and that franchise is on a quick path to nowhere right now. I mean, they're not going to get any better. I think Tua's got to hang it up. I mean, he just can't stay healthy, and their backup quarterback play is atrocious. I saw one thing. I forget who's their running back. A-Chain, right? Yeah. It was a joke, right? A-Chain's talking about his quarterback and why he wears the Guardian cap, and he jokingly, like, the joke was, "Man, you see my quarterback? He thinks my name's Preston. He's one hit away from calling me Kyle. Like, I'm gonna wear a Guardian cap and do whatever I can." Like, it's rough times down there in South Beach. Tyreek went down there, thought we'd have the fastest show on turf, get to live in South Beach. Why wouldn't you want to? But he's getting up out of there, which is good for him. What's his name? Mike McDaniel? Matt?
Yeah, Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, he was asked about it and said that he doesn't put a whole lot of weight into post game comments or like anything like that. Like, he'll wait a few days and those conversations will happen. He'll talk to him, but it sounds like, for all intents and purposes, Tyreek Hill's gone.
It's done. Done. It's done like dinner. But also Tyreek, you're the one. It's just like the Devontae Adams thing. People defending Devontae Adams when he went to the Raiders. It's not. You signed the contract. You took the money. You knew what you were signing up for.
Yeah, but he took the contract because of what they promised him they would build around him, and that included playing with Derek Carr. And then they shipped Derek Carr out of there, and he was like, "I didn't sign up for this. Aiden O'Connell's my quarterback. I didn't sign up for that."
That's why he didn't. That's why he didn't structure his contract right. And then the organization bends over backwards and ships him to the Jets, which that's going to be done like dinner. So you're going to be in the same situation you are, because I think the Jets are probably more than likely parting ways with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I would think you would have to at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I think so. I saw Aaron Rodgers. I almost clipped it for the show, but I didn't want to get copyright. But I saw he was on the McAfee show, and they asked him about the potential of being released, and he kind of scoffed at it and said, being released, that would be a first. And he said being cut by a teenager would also be a first.
Oh, there's serious. There are serious issues in New York, and the fact
jokes about the fact that the owner's son is running the team and he's like 16.
And you got to remember, Woody Johnson's married to his stepdaughter. Let's be real
right there.
So I'm pretty sure she was like an adopted kid or something, but his wife's like in her 30s, and that dude's like 100 years old. But yeah, I think it's
get it how you live it, I guess.
Hey, whatever. But I'm just saying,
we do have a special guest that would like to hop on. It's in the waiting room. If you'd like to add him to the stream here, and then we'll talk a little. We got a question here too. Why don't you throw our special guest joining us on a Monday up there?
What up, Rich?
What up, boys?
What's up, Richie? How was your weekend?
Great, man. Bucks got a win yesterday. They're in the playoffs. Can't complain. How was your guys' weekend?
Good. Well, we do have a question from Tony here, talking a little NFL, and this will lead us into the draft discussion we were going to have. But he wants to know: do you all think Riley Leonard gets drafted? I'll let you two take that first, and then I have my own opinion.
I think he gets drafted like 7th round. That's what I think.
It depends on how he plays in these next couple of games. He's got the injury bug question, and the passing production. Do I think he'll get an invite to a camp? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll get a camp invite. And do I think he'll have an opportunity to play in the spring league? I believe so.
Yeah. So I actually saw today, I think it was, that I forget who it was. One of the draft guys has him as the number 10 quarterback prospect in the draft this year. So I think he does get drafted, probably a day 3 pick, probably 5th, 6th, 7th round, something like that. A little bit of a project pick. Well, he has an opportunity to play himself into the 4th round, I think, if he plays well in these next game or two, hopefully 2. But yeah, I think he does get drafted. I think it won't be quite as bad as the Sam Hartman experience, but I think he will get drafted. Yeah, I would probably put it day 3. It just depends on how everything shakes out with the quarterbacks. If you have a run on quarterbacks earlier and he produces well in the last game or 2 of the season, I think he's going to test extremely well at the combine. His pro day throws will probably be great because they're scripted and there's going against air. So they're going to see that he has arm talent, not quite, top level arm talent, but it's there. So yeah, I definitely think he probably gets drafted. I would say ceiling is 4th round, but more likely 5th or 6th, maybe even 7th.
Well, one of the things I was going to point out, the difference between him and Sam Hartman is, I believe Sam Hartman completely played himself out of a medium round draft pick. And then also it doesn't help. He went to the Commanders, ends up there. Jaden Daniels is there. And obviously you see what Jaden Daniels is doing. And, I think if Sam Hartman comes out and plays great in the spring ball, because I'm assuming he's gonna latch on with one of the XFL teams and get some snaps, and
probably
he might get another camp invite. But as far as the Riley Leonard stuff goes, I think that one of the things that's going to hurt him is that I don't think he can make all the NFL throws.
No, I don't think he can either. I mean, he's shown that throughout the year that he misses some of the, especially down the field throws. He's a pretty accurate short yardage thrower, medium yardage. He's good, but once you get past that, 15, 20-yard mark, he's been pretty inaccurate and struggles throwing that deep ball, which is something that you have to do in the NFL. And that comes down to obviously accuracy, but also his arm strength at times. And making those cross the field throws are going to be difficult for him as well. But like I said, when it comes to pro days and combines and everything like that, they're going to script it up to make him look good. And then he's going to run well in the combine. He's going to test well and everything like that. So I could definitely see him playing himself into a like I said, late round pick.
It also just depends upon how the quarterback,
how the draft board shakes out,
how it shakes out, because I think excuse me, the first two off the board are going to be Shedeur and Cam. Probably in the first 4 picks, and then I think the steal of the draft is going to be Jackson Dart. I think Jackson Dart is got a high ceiling in the NFL.
Tell you I like Jackson Dart a lot. I still like Quinn Ewers, even though he has struggled this year. I think he's got potential. And I'll tell you who's really playing himself into a much better draft position is Will Howard out of Ohio State. I think he's showing a lot of arm talent and a lot of ability to make some of those big-time NFL throws. Deep ball still is underthrown at times, but he's got the arm strength to get it out there. He's shown that a few times in the past couple weeks. So I think those 3 are going to kind of be your next wave of quarterbacks after, obviously, Shedeur, Cam, those guys.
Also, here's a quick side note. When it comes to the quarterback draft board, we went through the obvious names. So where the hell do you shake out with a Jalen Milroe, Curtis Warwick? Like, where are these guys shaking out? Because,
Curtis Rourke has a torn ACL and has had it the whole season, apparently.
Milroe's going to go like 3rd, 4th, and he's got to make the switch to tailback. He's no NFL quarterback.
He's going to test well, and I promise you, just like
the problem.
I mean, he's no Anthony Richardson when it comes to measurables. Like, he's not as big, but he's going to test really well. He's going to show off that he's got a cannon of an arm, and you're going to get an NFL front office kind of like Indy that falls in love with him. They're not going to take him at 4, but I guarantee somebody reaches for Jalen Milroe in the 2nd round at quarterback.
I don't know if he'll be a 2nd round pick. No, I heard some stuff on the Cleveland front, a little some interesting things about they're sticking with Watson.
Well, they have to. I mean, that doesn't mean they won't draft anybody, but they have. The NFL already told them, no, you're not allowed to restructure his contract again. So they're stuck with a $72 million cap hit no matter what. So they kind of have to. But speaking of the Browns and the NFL draft, the first 3 picks are set. And you have, if we can get it up on the screen here.
Titans 1.
Yep, you got the Titans 1, Brownies 2, and the G-Men, the New York Giants, picking 3rd. I mean, that shakes out perfectly for Shedeur.
Oh, it sure does.
I think Titans are going to go Travis Hunter 1. I saw the Browns are going to take a tackle at 2. So that's fun. That'll be awesome. And then Shedeur 3. Or, it depends on if the Titans want to go quarterback. You go Shedeur, Cam Ward in Tennessee, and then the other one in New York, or the Browns. I know that a lot of people have been mocking Cam Ward to the Browns, which is the only quarterback of those 2 that I would want at the Browns. But honestly, if you're going to be stuck with Watson for 2 to 3 years, may as well go ahead and draft a tackle or something and suck again.
Yeah. What's up, Boston? And our other guy, Joe. What's up, Joe?
What's up, guys? But yeah, what do you guys think of the first 3 picks?
If I'm Tennessee, I'm not drafting Travis Hunter 1. I'm not because to me, my thinking is that you gotta draft a guy. I would draft Shedeur 1. It's one of those things that I think you gotta have the quarterback here because he's the most important person. I think the Will Levis thing is done. I mean, it's obvious. We know what Will Levis is. He'll probably be a journeyman backup. I think his days of pushing. He might go somewhere else and compete for a job, maybe a little meat on the bone. I don't know. Maybe
a little Sam Darnold resurgence. Baker Mayfield get in the right situation. You never know.
Yeah, but I think we pretty much know what he is, and I don't think I wouldn't draft Travis 1.
No, I
think Cam goes 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, have a good one, Tony.
Cam goes 1. Shador 2, or not Shador 2. Travis Hunter 2, and then Shador goes 3.
Shoot me in the face.
I almost think I would love it if Shador Sanders was the Browns quarterback.
Well, first things are, Deion Sanders will never let that happen. They will Eli Manning the fuck out of that. But I also don't think that. I mean, even if the Browns are high on him, Deion's talent, I promise you, the answer is no. So the Browns either are going to draft and trade or just not draft him. I promise you. There's no way that Deion is letting Shador go to Cleveland. That's just not going to happen, especially when you have New York right behind him.
I think he would be better off in Cleveland than in New York.
Better off how? Like playing wise?
Media wise.
Oh God, no. He's gonna get so much more deals and money. He'll be the face of the NFL immediately. New York, that's the same reason Eli wanted to go there over San Diego. It's the same reason. I mean, you get these guys that are from big, prominent families that have played in the NFL, and they understand the game and the marketing aspect of it, and they're going to put them in a big market. I promise you. They might do Tennessee just because Nashville is big enough, and Nashville and Tennessee's had more success than Cleveland. But I doubt he would ever be a Brown. And Joe wants to know, how is their team worse than the Giants? I don't know that there is. There's just two teams that really underperformed.
I don't know. The Deion thing sounds all good and fine, but it's. I think that some of these teams will hold the ground on some of it. I mean, it's obvious Cleveland needs a quarterback, and if you don't draft him and he turns out to be great, it's like the Mahomes Trubisky thing.
Well, except for Mahomes would have played wherever the hell he was drafted. So
yeah.
You can go to that and say, oh, you could have drafted Mahomes, and it's like, yeah, Mahomes would have played there. But if Shador and Deion tells you, I'm never playing in Cleveland, and you draft him, then you just wasted a draft pick because he's not signing a contract. And so
then you're gonna have to trade him. You're gonna have to trade him and get.
Yeah. So
I mean, you can probably. I'd still draft him and make him sit out.
That's fine. I mean, you just wasted the number 2 pick in the draft.
Because you're either going to play or you're going to sit, because what else are you going to do?
I don't know.
Because the longer you don't play, the worse off your career might be. And if I'm Haslam, what the hell do I care? I got Deshaun Watson. I mean, it can't be any worse than that deal.
Yeah, but you also have to value the second pick in the draft. Like, you're giving up the number 2 overall pick for a guy that may never play. And
there is talks that some teams are trying to talk Drew Aller into going to the draft too.
I'm sure, but I mean, it's the same reason that the Chargers didn't try to force Eli Manning to play for the Chargers. Like, if the answer is just a staunch no, we're not doing that, then what do you? I mean, draft him anyways, and then you both lose.
Well, it's really only happened twice in the draft. Elway had the leverage because he's probably still the best quarterback prospect to ever come out, as far as arm talent wise.
Yeah.
The Eli Manning thing was more of how the Chargers ran their operation. and they haven't.
Yeah, I think the same could be said about the Browns, though. Their operation hasn't been great.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. It's not, if you look at all three of those organizations, Bud Adams' daughter fired Mike Vrabel for because he was the asshole. That's what she fired him for. Let's be real here, and she didn't like it. So
it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But I also heard in other news, do you like the Minnesota Golden Gophers football team? I mean, sure. I think PJ Fleck's kind of a douchebag, but go Golden Gophers. But I also heard today that Deshaun Watson had a setback in his rehab and recovery of his Achilles, and now there's questions on if he will even be able to go in the 2025 season. Can't make this up.
I don't know. It's the Watson thing. It's so polarizing, and it's so divisive amongst the fan base. You know, when he got hurt, the fans were cheering him or booing him or whatever they were doing, and then and then you had Myles Garrett go up there and say, you guys can't do that. And which for me, I wouldn't believe anything that comes out of Myles Garrett's mouth, even if his tongue was notarized, because he lied on Mason Rudolph.
He wouldn't. Oh, prove
it. He did. He said that in the media. He said that.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did.
He did not say that. No, he didn't.
Where's the proof?
Okay,
where's the proof?
Then tell the NFL tapes to release the audio.
They did.
They did not. No, they didn't. But anyways, outside of that, Deshaun Watson continues to be the worst contract in the history of sports. And that's just going to continue to happen, which is awesome. We do have a couple questions here. Irish for life. Who's the monster injury concern? We'll be getting that in a little bit. We're going to talk a lot of Notre Dame here at the second half of the show. There's a few different injuries, though. There's not just one, unfortunately, that is huge. Greengrass, welcome back. Appreciate you tuning in again. Any chance Notre Dame is too euphoric like post A&M game and pulls up in Northern Illinois the following week? No, there's no chance. Partly because I think Marcus Freeman has learned from that experience. And the other part is you're not facing a MAC school that you should roll. You're in another dogfight, huge game this week. There's no room for complacency. There's no room for anything like that. So, no, I don't think you're going to get another Northern Illinois performance, thank God. Flanagan is a monster injury. That's true. He's done for the year. That's a big loss for them.
Yeah, and let's reset the show here. If you're watching, we got a good bit of people in the chat tonight. If you're watching out there on Twitter, come on over to YouTube and join in with all the fellas we got in the chat. We got tons of guys and ladies in here asking questions, and we're just getting this show going. We're getting ready to pivot to the second segment of the show tonight. And also hit that like and subscribe button. It helps us grow this channel, grow this show, so you can get more of me and Carter, disagreeing on various topics like usual. But with that being said, hit that like and subscribe button and help us grow this thing. So what do you got next, Carter?
Yeah, so obviously we just went over the top 3 in the NFL draft. There was another person or another team that had their grips on the number 1 pick in the draft and went out in week 18 and let it slip away. And that would be the New England Patriots, who I don't even know if they walked off the field before Robert Kraft told Gerard Mayo that he is done. They fired him immediately following the game. I don't know if it was a reaction to how bad they've been this year or a reaction to the fact that he won that game when he shouldn't have. Maybe a little bit of both. But
I was watching of players after the game, and this is still in the locker room.
Mhm.
They're doing the media at the locker stalls.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we just heard Gerard Mayo got fired, and the guys in real time are like, and the one guy was almost laughing that he got fired. So obviously there was something going on.
Yeah, there was a locker room issue.
and I don't know if Gerard Mayo was do you think he was a lame duck hire?
I think he was.
But I don't know why. Like that, there were other people out there. Like they were quick to move on Gerard Mayo. I felt like they really liked him. I don't understand why they moved quick if they were just going to give him a year to shit the bed and then get rid of him again.
Well,
I think they were waiting to see what happened. What Vrabel would do.
Vrabel was available.
Yeah, that's my thing. But yeah, Vrabel was available and they didn't hire him.
Yeah.
And Kraft goes on the diatribe of I've known Gerard for 17 years, blah 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 blah. Well, you fired him after 1 year and you didn't even really give him any help. You give him you give him 2 rookie quarterbacks, no skill positions, and that's just what it was.
Yeah, it was surprising. I don't know if you saw Gronk on TV afterwards. He was asked about it, and I think he was about to go off on Robert Kraft and the front office of the Patriots because he didn't seem very happy about it, and he was talking about it, and all of a sudden Michael Strahan goes, "Oh, actually, we got to get to break right now, Gronk," and just cut him off completely. Like, we don't want you to go off on Robert Kraft on live TV.
Oh yeah,
But,
because it's that's the thing with some owners are good at it, like the Rooneys have been good at it. They let the football people make the football decisions. In Detroit, they brought in the Spielman brothers, and look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In 3 years, the Detroit Lions are being talked about as what are they, back-to-back division champs, and over the course of 2 years are 27-5. If I would have told you that 15 years ago, you go from when Dan Campbell was a player there, they go 0-16 with arguably one of the best receivers of all time, and Dan Orlowski quarterbacking that team. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, but that. You look at the organizations that don't do that, and they typically struggle, right? You got the Cowboys with Jerry Jones making all the decisions. You got Robert Kraft, who seems to be getting his hands more and more involved ever since Tom Brady left. Obviously, Jimmy Haslam, it's reported, went to the front office and told them they had to get Deshaun Watson. So you just look at those 3 examples, and all 3 of those teams are pretty shitty.
Well, the Haslam thing is that not being a football guy and not knowing what happened. If they wanted to move on and try to make the Deshaun Watson thing work, they would go out and hire Bill O'Brien.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe.
Because that's the last guy he had success with. But I don't think see, this is the issue. The Cleveland Browns, an NFL team, couldn't throw a big enough bag of money at Bill O'Brien to get him to leave BC. That's a problem, in my opinion.
Yeah,
because like when Dan Devine left Notre Dame, it's just.
Yeah, I agree. But we got a lot of questions here in the chat that I want to get to. A lot of talk about the game, and we'll get to some Notre Dame stuff, and then finish up with some other talk about Ohio State and some of the other coaching rumors out there. Joe thinks that Franklin has a big bag of gimmicks, and that worries me. So far, we have been the one to out-gimmick the opponents. And then Greengrass Franklin is going to outfox himself. So here, when it comes to the gimmicks, that's a lot of the offensive coordinator. I forget, his name's escaping me right now in Penn State, but he runs a lot of motions, changing up formations and everything like that.
Andy Kotelnicki.
Kotelnicki, that's right, yeah. And so I'm sure they will do a lot of that kind of gimmicky stuff. The one good thing about this Notre Dame defense and Notre Dame's defense as historically and under Freeman and even under Kelly is they're very sound when it comes to gimmicks and things like that. They do a good job of not falling for them. I want to know what Richie has to say about it. He'll talk.
About what?
That's my guy Dave from the Cigar Lounge. I used to work with Dave. Dave's last day was last Thursday. He didn't show up on Friday. Patented. That's a Dave move.
Good for Dave.
Good job. But yeah, so I don't think we're going to get out gimmicked, and I wouldn't worry too much about gimmicks. I'd worry more about lining up and winning the battle in the trenches and everything like that.
Yeah,
just my opinion.
The thing of it is that I think when it comes to the defensive game plan, you're going to have, Al Golden and Marcus working together on that, and I think that I'm not worried about the defense at all.
No.
I'm just worried about the offensive execution being able to make enough plays to win this game, because I'm going to go out on a limb. I think 17 points wins this game.
Okay.
I think whoever gets to 21 wins the game,
Mm-hmm.
because both defenses are pretty stout. I feel like the Penn State defense will give Riley Leonard a bunch of fits compared versus Georgia. I mean, Abdul Carter, the front seven. DBs aren't the greatest, but that's what I foresee happening.
Joe makes a good point here. Abdul Carter didn't play he didn't play at all in the second half against Boise.
Yeah. He's banged up, and Georgia's front seven is probably equal in talent. I don't know if it's as high end if Abdul Carter's 100%, but it's got a great front seven as well. Irish for Life said the NIU loss was a good thing after that game. They're hyper-focused and a different team. I agree. I think that NIU loss, I've said it for both the two hottest teams in the playoffs right now are Ohio State and Notre Dame. And both of them needed the embarrassing losses in order to get to the place that they're at right now. That's just my opinion. But you've seen a different Notre Dame team for the 12 games since NIU, and you've seen a much different Ohio State team for the 2 games since Michigan. Green Grass, bigger worry is number 1, big game letdown. Number 2, Love injury. And number 3, Penn State, extra 2 days to recover. I think the biggest worry for me on that is exactly what this show's about. We'll go ahead and jump into it, and that brings it up perfectly. I think the biggest concern for me is Jeremiah Love. He obviously played minimal snaps in the game versus Georgia, got banged up again. He's been dealing with some injuries. Reports came out this week that he's been very limited in practice, has been wearing a pretty massive brace on his leg. I don't know if he's going to go. I just don't know how much of a factor he's going to be. And you look at this team now, obviously, Jadarian Price and Riley Leonard picked up the slack in the Georgia game just fine. There wasn't much of a letdown. But Jeremiah Love is such a dynamic runner and a dynamic playmaker for that offense that if he's not 100%, I think that's a major issue for Notre Dame's offense.
Yeah, they got to. Hopefully, he can go, but if he's not 100%, and he's not going to be effective, I think you have to sit him.
I think you give him the chance to go, and if it's not working, you just lean on Jadarian Price and that other running. God, names are escaping me tonight. But either way, it's a massive loss, and that like we've talked about all year with Notre Dame, they've had so many injuries. Cooper Flanagan, another massive loss from the Georgia game. He's one of their best tight ends, especially in the run game. So just huge losses all around. Joe thinks that they're going to give Aller the green light and bringing it down and running more than usual. I wouldn't be shocked. He's definitely going to have the freedom to do whatever he needs to do to make plays. But I think after watching the Georgia film, I think the bigger concern is giving him the green light to take shots on this secondary, because the secondary played well at times, but definitely showed signs of being the weakness of the defense.
Well, let's just throw this in perspective. Now, you brought up that you thought the front seven was good Georgia had a good or equal to front seven of Penn State. The problem is that if you take Abdul Carter out there, and if he's not as effective, I think Georgia's pass rush is better than Penn State's. And I think on the offensive side of the ball is you can give Drew Aller the green light and let him see if he can huck it, chuck it football. But the thing you have to remember is that Penn State does not have a Dylan Bell, an all-purpose everything guy.
Yeah, no, they definitely don't. No, I agree with you completely. I mean, Jalen Walker for Georgia was an absolute menace in that Sugar Bowl. And I mean, I think he's as good, if not, I mean, a little different position, but as good of a pass rusher as Abdul Carter. And I mean, he tore it up, and he made Anthony Knapp struggle a lot. And then it'll be, yeah, I mean, I agree with what you said. But let me see what else. Yeah, go ahead.
I just think on that side of it, I think that Abdul Carter's a hell of a pass rusher, and he's going to command a lot of attention and chipping and things like that. Yeah. But also, can Penn State hold up on the back end? Because unlike Boise State, Notre Dame can throw the ball a little bit better than what Boise can. And also, you got to also account for Riley Leonard in the run game, which that's your +1. So I don't think Penn State has seen anything kind of like that. And the closest thing they've seen was Ohio State with a running quarterback, and you know how that turned out.
Yeah, and we also know Will Howard doesn't run it nearly as much as Riley Leonard. I mean, not even close. But yeah, I think ultimately this game's going to line up where, again, I thought Riley Leonard was going to have to make some plays in the throw game to beat Georgia. It turned out he didn't need to make that many. You know, the one to Bo Collins for a touchdown, a couple others here and there, hitting Faison down the sideline, things like that, but not too many. I think Penn State's going to give them a test in the run game to make sure the X factor is obviously Riley in the run game, because Georgia lined up and was ready to shut down Notre Dame's run. Notre Dame's running back struggled early in the game running it between the tackles. And the way they broke out of that was Riley Leonard got involved in the run game, broke a couple runs, and then Jadarian Price started bouncing it outside, and they had success running the football then. I think you're going to get a similar game plan from Penn State where they're going to line up ready to stop the run. And either Riley Leonard is going to have to use his legs to open up the run game, or he's going to have to hit some shots and open up the run game through his passing. And that's something we haven't seen him do a whole lot this year. He's capable of doing it. He is. It's just he's going to have to hit a shot here or there, or at least take them. And successfully threaten that defense to just take them out of their shell a little bit.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, because they are going to have to stretch the field on Penn State. I think that this is where you could see, maybe put Bo Collins in the slot and have him stretch the field horizontally, with maybe having him, run down the seam and catch a bomb or something to that effect, to just help, open up the box for the run game. So,
yeah, I think Jordan Faison is going to be the guy they lean on to try to do that, because he's got the most, I guess, top end speed, as well as just his ability in the slot and to move and to run routes that can get open and everything like that. I think he's shown the best ability at getting open. Bo Collins has struggled getting open at times. So I think you're going to need both of them to make plays, but I would lean on Faison to try to stretch the field. Question here from Cameron. Are we capable of calling in? I'm curious about your guys' opinion in the game, or on the games, he corrected. Not right now. We are working to do a call-in show. I'm not sure when we'll have that set up. But if you have any questions, you can either drop them in the chat if there's specific questions, or, I'll do my best to give you my opinions on the games and everything like that. But, yeah, we'll definitely answer any questions, and then we'll be adding a call-in show eventually. Just got to get the subscribers up and everything like that.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and reset one last time, and we will get it going here. But if you're watching out there on Twitter, come on over. Got a bunch of people in the chat. Hit that like and subscribe button. Help us grow this show. We're gonna, we're gonna add some things once we get the subscriber count up to where we'll be able to, do a call-in show. It just depending on times and the logistics of it. And so, but with that being said, hit that like and subscribe button and help us get on the path to 1,000.
Exactly. And just like Cameron said, drop a like the episode. If you've ever looked in the fridge, closed it, and then opened it and looked again. I know I've done it.
That was me this afternoon when I was trying to get something to eat.
Exactly. But outside of that, sorry, scrolling through the chat here, throw deep ball. Yeah, Jeter. That's right. The kicker's back. Jeter is healthy, and he looked good in that Sugar Bowl.
Dave's here.
Dave's here. Woo-hoo. Why did Bo kick to Rocket the second? I have no idea, Dave. That's a throwback question. I have no idea, but Rocket Ishmael made sure to make him pay.
No, yeah.
ND can beat Texas. Don't be so scared. I didn't see anybody that said they were scared of Texas. I don't know if I missed it, but I didn't see that.
I did look at the books. They had all the matchups together. Do you know what Notre Dame is versus Texas?
Texas 1.5 point dog.
2.5 points.
2.5.
And they're only 7 against Ohio State.
Yeah, I was gonna say I figured Ohio State would be a touchdown favorite against both Penn State and Notre Dame, honestly, right now. But shifting gears a little bit here, and again, if you're in the chat, drop questions. We'll keep asking. Levi wants to know prediction for the score. Levi will do that on our preview show, which as of right now will be Wednesday night at 7:30. And then we'll do a pregame show on Thursday, but the preview show will be Wednesday night. But other than that, switching gears here a little bit, talking Texas is beating Ryan Crying Day. Well, let's talk about it, JSE. I am excited for that one. I can't say I'm as excited for that one as I am for Notre Dame, but it's close, man. That one's going to be fun. Obviously, it's going to be in the state of Texas, Dallas, at the Cotton Bowl, which I've been to, Jerry's World. It's a great venue. I've heard a lot of people talk about it's going to be a lot of burnt orange in that stadium. What are you guys thinking? Break it down percentage-wise. Richie, what are you feeling?
I think it's going to be 60-40 Texas, just because it's basically in their backyard. But Buckeye fans travel. I mean, they'll travel to freaking Ireland if they have to play Notre Dame over in Ireland. I mean, they travel well. Mm-hmm. So I that's what I foresee happening. And hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's more people coming down to Texas.
I don't know. I was going to say about the same.
Yeah, and also I don't get the why that. Like, there's been a lot of people that have put a lot of stock into the who has more fans show up. Like, realistically, half the tickets anyway are corporate tickets. Mm-hmm. That's why whenever you went and watched Penn State, Boise State, it got a little loud, but it wasn't. There's a lot of corporate people that were there that were just probably had never been to a college football game that wanted to go.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, I think you're going to get, and that's more so like the bowl game structure, right? I mean, like first round games were at home stadiums. There was some corporate money, obviously. CFP determined all the environment and everything like that, but it was mostly college football fans that were there, right? Then you move to actual bowl game venues, and it's a lot more corporate. It's not near like the Super Bowl where it's just corporate 100%, but. It's a lot. It's a different environment. I mean, I love going to bowl games. They're a lot of fun, but the environments are nothing like actual college football games.
Yeah, they had all the Irish for Life brings up the Tennessee fans all showed up. Yeah, at the end of the day, I don't put a lot.
It was about 70-30, 75-25 Ohio State Tennessee fans, though. It wasn't quite the takeover that they want you to believe.
And
little inflated.
Yeah.
But I just, to me, like, I think there's more meaningful shit to be worried about than how many fans did you guys bring?
Yeah.
Well, what's the fucking count on the scoreboard is what I want to know.
Yeah, so Cameron has a good question here. If both quarterbacks struggle, who do you think wins the Ohio State-Texas game?
I don't know. If it was picking quarterbacks, I'd lean Ewers, hook them.
Yeah, but I think
I'm going with JJ and the weapons that Ohio State has that's surrounding them, and plus the tailbacks. Trey. I mean, I'm not trying to be a homer, but Trey is playing out of his absolute mind these last 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's the other X factor next to JJ. Go ahead, Carter.
Yeah, I think if it's going to be a defensive game, both of them have great defenses, really good defenses, both Texas and Ohio State. The run game definitely favors Ohio State. Texas has looked better in the run game, but ultimately Ohio State has a two-headed monster at running back, and Texas is dealing with like their third-string running backs for the year. That favors Ohio State, in my opinion. Now, if you told me it's a shootout where both offenses are scoring and Quinn Ewers is playing high-level football, I think that might favor Texas a little more just because you're going to be asking Will Howard to consistently be what he's been the past 2 weeks. But ultimately, when I look at the game, and we'll break it down on the preview show Wednesday, but just first initial glances at it, I don't love the way Texas stacks up against Ohio State. I really don't. Quinn Ewers has been playing very mediocre. I think to beat Ohio State right now, the way they're playing, you're going to need really good quarterback play, which Quinn Ewers is capable of. He just hasn't shown it this year. And then on top of that, Ohio State's offense is playing out of its mind. It has way too many weapons. And finally, Ryan Day and Chip Kelly put it together that, we have all these wonderful weapons outside. Maybe we should try throwing it to them every play. And that just seems to work.
What good news this is.
But I think ultimately, when you look at it, I think Ohio State's a better team overall. I think they both have good defenses. I'd lean a little heavier on Ohio State's being better, just pure talent and everything across the board. And then the offense, I mean, I said it, I believe, last week after the Ohio State game. With the way the offense that Ohio State's playing right now and how good their defense has been ever since the Oregon game, I don't know if there's a team in the country that can stack up against them right now very, very well. I mean, I don't like any of the matchups. If I had to put my money on it against Texas, Penn State, Notre Dame, Georgia, you name it. I mean, any team in the country right now, I don't know how I would pick against Ohio State just because of how they looked the last 2 weeks. And they look like they figured something out finally. And so I think I'm hopeful that this will be a good game. I'm hopeful that it won't be another rout, because I would love to see an interesting game in the semifinals, first of all, but also as I prepare for the national championship game, let's say it's Notre Dame, I would love to be able to look at the Texas game and be like, okay, this is what Notre Dame can do to cause problems for Ohio State. Because right now, the past 2 games, it's not like those teams weren't good teams or weren't trying to cause problems for Ohio State. They just couldn't. And so if I see another game where nobody has figured out a way to cause any sort of trouble for Ohio State, I'm going to be really struggling.
And also, this is just something I wanted to point out. This is not going to make the SEC contingent happy, but whenever you break it down, Ohio State's the 4th best team in the Big Ten. They finished 4th.
Yes.
Behind Indiana, Penn State, and Oregon. So
they beat 2 of those teams, though.
But I'm just saying,
I understand.
The 4th best team in the Big Ten has a shot to win it all.
The 4th best team has the best shot to win it all.
So
I mean, they are the odds-on favorite to win it all.
And then also you have an independent.
But we also can acknowledge that Ohio State's not the 4th best team in the Big Ten.
If you look at the rankings, it's in black and white. They are
use our eyeballs.
Fourth.
I know,
They
but we can also use our eyeballs and go, they beat 2 of the top 3. Well, now 3 of the top 3, but like at the time of the final rankings of the Big Ten, they had beaten the two of the top 3 ahead of them. So they're probably better than those 2. But I understand what you're saying. They finished 4th. You're right. And Jancy brings it up. Look at what Michigan did against Ohio State if you want to cause problems. I understand that thought process. My only problem with that is I watched what Ohio State did against Michigan. I think Ohio State caused problems for Ohio State a little bit more than Michigan did.
But I'm just and Irish for Life brings it up too. Notre Dame's 3-0 against the SEC.
Damn right.
So it's not been good. This new format has not been good for the SEC, and the Feinbaum complaining. Yeah, where's Herbstreit? Ohio State shouldn't be in the playoffs. They shouldn't be.
No.
That's
According
fine.
to Herbie.
That's fine. All right, let's see what Cameron had to say here. What about the other game? If Notre Dame, Penn State, I know it's not happening, but both are having good offensive games. Which quarterback overall offense do you trust? P.S. James Franklin is not a good coach. I agree with the last part of that statement for sure. But
definitely.
I don't know. Dude, what do you think? I'll let you go first, and then Richie, you can chime in, and then I'll give my thoughts.
As far as offensive execution, you would think that you would lean on Penn State more. I'm really shocked at the number on this game is 1.5 points, and to me that tells me that Vegas has no idea who's going to win. And Notre Dame is the team that everybody has counted out for the most part. Them and Ohio State. For Notre Dame to make it here, I mean, you mean to tell me they're favored by more over Penn State than they were against Georgia? And obviously the tough situation down there, Sonny Smart, Kirby Smart's father, passing away. That is
that's tragic.
That is unbelievable. I couldn't imagine trying to coach, one of the biggest football games of your life, and you have that going on. And a lot of people get into the fanfare stuff of this, and they like to talk shit, but also at the end of the day, you have to remember they're your neighbor, they're human beings too. Also,
absolutely.
For
absolutely.
as much as people want to argue and say this person needs fired and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Right. But when something like that happens, we have to remember that these coaches and players, they're human beings too.
Didn't he fall at the game?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I believe so.
I didn't even hear any about this.
Yeah, so Kirby's dad during the game, so Kirby's coaching the game, I guess he had a fall in the stands or something, and then went to the hospital and ended up passing away.
Oh my God, I didn't hear any about this. Holy shit. God.
Yeah. So obviously Kirby probably didn't know much about it going on while he's coaching the game, but then afterwards he finds out, and I mean he's dealing with losing this game and then losing his dad pretty much same night. Like it's tragic, but
so that's just and then plus everything that happened down in New Orleans, it had to be a
he fell leaving the hotel. Gotcha.
So just that's a tough. That is a totally tough situation. So,
but anyways, not. I mean, absolutely prayers and thoughts and prayers to the family, everything, all the cliche stuff. And I don't mean that just a cliche. Like I honestly feel bad for him. But getting back to the question at hand, Richie, I'll let you chime in. If they're both clicking on offense, Penn State, Notre Dame, which quarterback overall offense do you trust more?
I trust Riley Leonard more. I feel like what he did last week against Georgia, putting the team on his back, making that big run at the end of the fourth quarter where he went end over top. I think he has the more of the fire in the belly than Drew Aller. Drew Aller to me just doesn't seem like he commands the huddle. He doesn't get his guys riled up in the huddle when they're bringing the play in, like, hey, let's go pound this motherfucker in the end zone. No, like to me, I feel like Riley would be the one to do that against Penn State.
Yeah. So, I mean, when I look at it, I guess I would ask a clarifying question, Cameron. When you say both offenses are clicking, which quarterback do you trust? Are you saying it's a shootout where they're both having to throw the ball a lot? Because if it's a throw game question, I'm going to go Drew Aller. I think he's better in the throw game. I trust him to be more accurate with the deep balls and to consistently move the ball through the air. Now, if it's just a question of both offenses clicking as in executing their scheme, I like Notre Dame's offense to do that better. I think if you're able to run the ball, control the clock, get first downs, Notre Dame has a great shot. When you look at these offenses, comparing them on paper, Penn State has the number 25 total offense in the country. Notre Dame's number 49 or something like that. But where the difference is Notre Dame has the fourth best scoring offense in the country, and Penn State is down at 25. So I think Notre Dame's offense has shown that their ability to put up points is second to none in the country. So if they're clicking in that way, I like Notre Dame in that game, and I trust Marcus Freeman a lot more as a head coach in a tight game where both offenses are scoring, both offenses are putting up points, but they're both executing their game plan.
James Franklin is 3-10 versus AP top 10 opponents.
Yeah.
Let's let that sink in. And also one of the last things before we move on to the next segment, when it comes to the James Franklin thing, let's not forget this is big game James here. He has botched a lot of things. He's still coasting off of beating Ohio State at home on a blocked field goal from 2016, I think that was.
2016, yeah.
I was at that game.
Carter was at that game. So I think that when all things are being real here, I think I trust Mike Denbrock more than Tom Allen. I mean, isn't that what? No. Mike Denbrock versus Tom Allen. Tom Allen's
the defense. I got you. Yeah. So I trust Golden versus Kotelnicki more than Denver. You know what I mean? Like I trust both sides. I like the coordinators better.
And I think this is one of the very few games that you could make the case and make the argument as far as numbers and production wise that not Ohio State, but that that Notre Dame's wide receiving core is better than the team that they're going against with Bo Collins and Jordan Faison.
Jaden Greathouse, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the very few games you could argue that. That is what I'm saying, that Penn State doesn't have the dudes on the outside to even put pressure like Georgia did. I would say Georgia, out of all things being real, I would say Georgia has the second best.
Oh. The second best. He likes to leave us on the flip. There you go.
What happened? Sorry, folks. We're having technical difficulties here. The Andre Duke show.
This camera again is just not
acting up. Duke's practicing this thing where he leaves cliffhangers and then sees if the viewership jumps.
Well,
what was he gonna say?
Wait, what? Oh, I have me on the edge of my seat. God damn it!
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to turn this into Howard Stern. Why do people listen to Howard Stern? Because they want to see what he says next.
Exactly.
So
yeah, I agree with you, though. I think Georgia's wide receivers are better than Penn State's for sure. I think Penn State's wide receiver core is proven it's pretty weak. They have the one kid that's good. Outside of that, it's a pretty weak room. But you still have to. But alternatively, you have to add into the fact that now Georgia had a pretty good tight end, but Tyler Warren's probably the best tight end in the country. And he's going to be somebody that Adon Schuler and Xavier Watts have to focus on a majority of the game.
Yes, 100%. I think
go.
I think that if you could shut Warren down, and shutting Warren down, that's their best receiving threat is their tight end.
Yes. Yes.
So as long as you could shut him down, and at times Penn State struggled to move the ball against Boise. Let's not forget about that. And Boise did sack Drew Aller. And I think this front seven, and don't be shocked Young has a big game defensively.
Yeah,
You know,
I think Young could. I think Tua Mulilao or whatever.
yeah, I know.
He's been turning it on lately. And for as banged up as this front seven is, they are getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback still. I mean, they had 7 or 8 sacks against Georgia.
Mm-hmm. So let's keep an eye on Young for this game, because I think this could be his coming out party. Penn State on the national stage. What more to have happen for you? So
I do want to get to. There's a couple comments that we'll highlight here, and then we'll wrap it up. Dave's here. He's a Michigan fan, by the way. Texas fans need to start talking about how soft Ryan Day is until he decides to show you and calls a stupid game. Helps to put their quarterback into I am Batman land. That's facts. That's facts. That's what happens every year against Michigan right now. And then Dave wanted to know who's favored. Right now, I have the line Notre Dame's favored by 1.5 against Penn State.
There's a couple of varying books.
Okay.
Because Bet ESPN, not Fox has it at 2.5. So that's where we're at. And then also Dabo making a very interesting move today. A lot of people might not have saw it, but Goodwin, the defensive coordinator, relieved of duty today.
Oh,
interesting. So they had a couple of kids transfer out. I don't know who Dabo's going to hire.
Probably his cousin.
Yeah, I think maybe they hire a lame duck and Venables comes back. I don't know, because I would say
Irish for life is good. But Irish for life, Southwest Michigan, yeah, it's chilly there. Did you guys get any snow? I know we got about 4 or 5 inches. That's what she said last night. But yeah, it's cold as shit here. I want to get out of Ohio.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So, if you're in Southwest Michigan, I'm close to South Bend as well. So I'm about an hour and a half down the road on the toll road from South Bend.
That's it. Tulialamaka. I knew it.
So, but yes, what is the last topic you got for us before we wrap this?
Last thing. So, I mean, just another rumor mill out there. Obviously, the Bears looking for a head coach. Several other NFL teams will be joining them. Obviously, the Patriots are one. And who do you think is most likely to jump ship from college and end up in the NFL this year?
I think Sark.
I don't know if Sark will make that move, because it's pretty comfortable at Texas. Now, I get it. There's tons of benefits being in the NFL. You don't have to go on the road recruiting. We don't have to do a lot of things. You don't have to babysit the kids. You don't have to do, but if you're a good head coach, you know what's going on. But
yeah,
it's a little bit of a cush life. Now, what do I think's really happening here? This is just my opinion. I think that we're throwing Sark's name out there for some engagement farming, because I think this is what I think is going to happen. The Bears, if they want Caleb Williams to be successful, these Chicago Bears will hire Cliff Kingsbury
as the head coach.
Yes.
Yeah, he's been so successful.
Because, and I'm not. This is just what I'm saying. They're either going to hire him or Lincoln Riley because of the Caleb Williams thing. That's it. The hell with the defense. The hell with everything else. They want Caleb Williams to be successful. If they don't hire him, I think they hire Brian Flores, which tells me that Ryan Poles might get fired, and Caleb Williams is going to go to the scrap heap, and they're going to completely start over again.
Absolutely.
That's just my opinion. If they don't hire one of those two offensive guys, they completely push the fuck it button with Caleb Williams, in my opinion.
Yep. Yeah, I think that makes sense to me. Joe said Lincoln Riley, Ryan Day, James Franklin, Lane Kiffin. I think Lincoln Riley is your best bet of those four to bolt to the NFL. I like the one name I've heard a lot of, and after kind of getting embarrassed in the playoffs, maybe none other than Dan Lanning, who is maybe set to interview for the Bears job, might be thinking about, hey, might be a little easier than having to face Ohio State every year.
I don't think it's I don't think it's that. I think here's the thing. I think you're going to see more and more of this. I think Dan he's young enough to go because he's 39. He's the same age as Marcus.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
he can go, fail, and then come back.
Absolutely.
And it gives him an out of Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I also don't. If you're him, why would you leave Oregon? You have a war chest.
Yeah, I mean he's king over there.
And I
that's kind of the question that Greengrass asked right here. Why would college coaches go to the NFL anymore? They get the same amount of money in college.
Yep.
I mean, here's my answer to that question. I know this to be fact. It's a lot easier of a job in the NFL. It's a lot easier. You don't have to worry about NIL. You don't have to worry about your players leaving every year and re-recruiting them. They're under contract. They can't go anywhere. You don't have to worry about recruiting. You don't have to spend as much time. It's a lot easier of a job, a lot more time friendly with your family, everything like that. It's a lot less stressful from the time aspect and what you have to do in the NFL than it is college. Now, it's stressful because if you don't perform in your first year, you might get fired, a la Gerard Mayo.
Now, but also Gerard Mayo is going to get paid for a little bit. But also, here's a caveat. Yeah. Let's say Dan Lanning takes which I think the Bears should hire Brian Flores. That's just my opinion. I would hire.
That'd be a great hire. That would be a great hire.
Because remember the last time they hired a defensive guy, they went to the Super Bowl, even though they didn't win it.
Mm-hmm.
That Lovie Smith guy was the last best head coach that they had, in my opinion. But I think that team would have stuck together if you didn't fire Lovie Smith. Now maybe Phil Emery and all those people back then, and the McCaskies, maybe looking back at that, hindsight's 2020, and you don't hire fucking Mark Trestman. That talk
out of the CFL. What the fuck?
Yeah, that was terrible.
He was an offensive, the offensive guru. You should go and listen to when Cutler was doing his podcast. Listen to the stories he would tell about Trestman. This is an interesting dude. So, but yeah, I think Flores is the guy. And one last thing that if I would add anything, let's say Dan does take this job. If I'm Oregon, who I'm picking up the phone and I'm calling?
Chip Kelly.
No. Not even close.
I don't know.
Kenny Dillingham.
Oh, yeah, because he was the OC there.
I would call Kenny Dillingham.
Yep, that makes sense.
And say, hey, Dan didn't want this war chest and, a top 5 recruiting class. What do you think you can do with it, Kenny? And then and I think it's interesting that the kid that committed to Oregon didn't even play, entered the transfer portal and is going to Cal now. So I think that's – I don't know. I'm not gonna speculate. It could be a lot of engagement farming. Dan throwing his name out there to get a bigger raise. So
he's already getting paid pretty well, but you can always get more, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, Irish for Life has it right here. The NFL has rules when it comes to contracts, players, pay, all that. College in the NIL world is just the Wild West, and there are no rules, and the NCAA's plan is that of no plan. I agree completely. I think that's why a lot of coaches. That's why you saw Chip Kelly go from being a head coach to a coordinator. That's why you saw Jeff Hafley leave as the head coach of Boston College to go be a D coordinator in the NFL. That's why you're seeing some of these college coaches jump ship from being head coaches because it's a lot more than they signed up for originally when they got into the industry.
Yeah, and that's just how some of this stuff goes as things change. You have to adapt, adapt or die. So I guess we'll see what else happens. Don't be shocked if there ain't more names out there. I'm really shocked Brian Daboll is retained. I seen Mara's interview today. He said,
Yeah, he was pissed.
Yeah, he's like, I don't have patience. Pretty much saying, like, if Daboll comes out and they start slow, they're gonna fucking fire him. I think Brian is. I think
why
Brian's
even give him the chance then?
Because I think him and Joe Shane are packaged together for his.
Then get rid of both. Joe Shane needs to be gone anyways.
I would fire Joe Shane, but the problem you have is that when you in the NFL, when you bring in I would fire him just based on the Saquon Barkley shit.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. You can go down the list. Saquon Barkley, drafting what's his fuck? Danny Dimes. Yeah, and then giving him a $160 million contract. I mean, yeah, Greengrass brings up a good point here. LSU probably wants someone in the NFL to take Brian Kelly. Yeah. Hey, just eat that $68 million buyout and take him.
Yeah, so but that's what that is, and I guess tomorrow we can get into some more of it. But outside of that, I ain't got nothing else.
No, that covers it, man. I'm watching Wisconsin beat Rutgers in basketball right now because there's nothing on anymore.
Yeah,
actually, I was watching the North Dakota State.
Yeah,
Montana
that's
State
what
game.
I'm watching.
Okay, like I said, there's nothing on right now.
Hey, you know what? It's football. I'm not complaining.
Is it really though?
Yes.
Yes.
hey,
fucking Mount Union lost last night. They were going toe to toe with North Central, and North Central just pulled away.
Yeah, I can't believe North Central won that game. Their quarterback was outstanding, but also
he's gonna be really good selling cars.
Hey, that's what a lot of people thought about Cam Scatterbo too at Sacramento State. Playing FCS football.
Hey, he's going to be a hell of a car salesman when he flames out in the NFL. I'm kidding.
And I think Trey Lance's brother scored a touchdown before half.
Yeah, Trey Lance.
Was that his brother? Did you watch? I mean, were you watching, Duke? I think his brother scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
Nice.
Was that him?
Yeah, his brother plays for
North Dakota. Yeah.
So, yeah, with that being said, since I ain't got anything else, Richie, Carter, you got anything?
Nope.
No, nothing else.
All right. Well, that is the show for this evening. Hit that like and subscribe button. Irish for life. Good luck, man. Be safe down there in Florida. Miami, South Beach, a little different down there. Be safe, man. For anybody traveling to the game, be safe. If you can, travel in a group, a group of people, and it's going to be nighttime down there. So appreciate everybody watching. Hit that like and subscribe like our guy Irish for Life did. Can't wait to get this going. It's going to be a great next couple of days. Big game. That's what we've been building this thing. That's what we've been working towards all year on this channel. Ohio State and Notre Dame both being in the dance. The Midwest is here. We have 3 teams in the Midwest. If Texas loses, it's going to be an all Midwest final. So that is what it's like up here for us. And when you can pay people and it's legal now, it's strange how the pendulum swings back. But with that being said, everybody hit that like and subscribe button. Have a good night.
Have a great night, everybody.